Hello, good morning. I hope that you're all well and that you've had a good week. Before I start to talk about needlework, I would like to say a big thank you for everybody who said prayers for Bertie on Wednesday and for checking up on how he is. On Wednesday, Bertie had an operation to remove some epuluses, or are they called epuli? I don't know, but a single one is an epulus from his mouth. We thought he only had one, but it turned out that he had 14 other epulus in his mouth. It was very difficult to see them, and it was only when he was anaesthetised that the vets spotted them all. Now, it's nothing to worry about. It's something very common in boxers. His mother had these when she was older. So I've always known to keep an eye open for them, and the vet has been monitoring the big epulus over the last few years, and a decision was made that now was the time to remove it and remove the other ones when she found them. He came through the anaesthetic very well. Wednesday night we didn't have a very good night. He was very restless. I think he was reliving the experience, but he was absolutely fine Thursday and Friday, and he's woken up a very happy boy this morning. We go back to the vets on Monday for a post-operative check, and I'm sure everything's going to be fine. Hugo was beside himself on Wednesday, with Bertie not being with him, and he's been very concerned about Bertie since then. Okay, so yesterday Linda went home, and I've really missed her already. It's going to be January that we're next together when we travel to Phoenix for the Attic Needlework Sampler Symposium. I'm very much looking forward to that weekend. I'll be presenting on the Sunday morning with Kathleen Littleton of Cross Stitch Antiques, and Kathleen and I have some really beautiful samplers to present to the event. Okay, so this week, last night in fact, I had a finish. I've shown you this sampler before. It's Tosca, and I've got her upside down. There she is. So that's the original, and this is my reproduction. I'm so pleased with how this has come out. It's so lovely to be able to find a linen that's an exact match to the original sampler. This is Cedar River, and I hope I get this right, it's Albarium. But I better check on that. If it's not, I'll put a little some text across the video screen. So there we have it, Tosca. So pleased with this. I've got this one back to front. I was thinking those names weren't reading correctly. Hold on a second. You can see how neat she was. Here we go. So there's the sampler. I've stitched the sampler on 56 count because it's my favourite size of linen to work on. And also it makes easier to transport the samplers if I'm travelling with them, and it takes up less room on my sampler walls. I haven't got a lot of room on my sampler walls now. I have to be very selective about what I stitch to have somewhere for them to hang. I know you look at this room and think there's lots of hanging space, but this room is too bright to hang samplers in. When the sun comes in, it pours into this room. Okay, so, I know that you like to know what colours I used. Here they are, and as you can see, they are a really, really good match to the original. I used one of my favourite reds, which is 523, and the blue is 417. There they are, and it's a Vera Soir 103. This week I had some goodies come, and something I'm really, really delighted with is this little tea set. So here is the little teapot or coffee pot, whichever you want to call it. The lid is adorable. How many times have we stitched a little dog like this on our samplers? I just love that the little knob is slightly tilted and the pattern is adorable. And there's the handle, and this is in really, really good condition. I don't want to collect things that have been repaired or have cracks or chips in them. And this is in excellent condition. So that's the little teapot or coffee pot. We have a milk jug or a creamer, whichever you prefer to call it. And we have a sugar bowl. This is a far more inexpensive set of china to collect with sampler patterns than the Royal Doulton. This is Mason's sampler pattern, and I've seen these for sale in the Southern Hemisphere and in the States besides the UK. I haven't seen if they're for sale in mainland Europe, purely because that's somewhere that I don't really look to shop. Anyway, a little bit more for my collection for my Welsh dresser in my breakfast room. There was a lovely finish of Polly Gay's sampler. Stephanie has finished her version of Polly, and she said that she enjoyed working on her and that she was a very quick stitch. This little sampler didn't take Melissa long to stitch, and it's a great one for Christmas. Now, talking of how these colours are very Christmassy, I've had a few inquiries in the week about could I recommend a sampler that is a good one to stitch for the Christmas period. Well, I think that this is a really Christmassy sampler because of the colours. It's predominantly red and green, and we've just got a few little touches of this sort of grey, greeny blue. And this is Amelia Bachelor. Very pretty sampler, and it's a sampler that's not going to take you a long time to stitch and would be a great one for the month of December or even November and December. So that's Amelia Bachelor. And she was from Barkswell School, and she stitched her sampler in 1863. It's all cross stitch over 2, so very doable for everyone. The little sampler I showed you last week, Emma Till, who was 4 years of age, a few people have asked me, would I show Rosa Sugars? Now, Rosa Sugars also stitched her sampler, I've got that upside down, when she was 4 years old. So there's Rosa's sampler. It's very sweet, very pretty, lots of little scrumptious dashes of colour in this sampler. Amazing for 4 years old. But when you stitch Rosa, you really have to count carefully because her counting was a little bit off. Very, very pretty sampler. Okay, so what am I going to stitch next? Well, I was thinking about that this morning in the shower. I've got so many samplers that really call to me, and I'm 99.9% certain that the next sampler I'm going to stitch is a Norfolk sampler, but you know, I've had that sort of plan before and sat down and decided to stitch something else, so I will let you know in my next Flosstube what I've started to stitch this evening when I settle down. This week, my mystery box from Hobby House Needleworks arrived. Now, I'm not going to show you the contents because I'm sure that not everybody's received their boxes yet, or they may be holding their box to open at a future date. I was absolutely thrilled with what was inside this box. I knew what the chart was because it's a Hands Across the Sea samplers chart, but the main goodie is fabulous, and there was something else in this box that I thought was absolutely stunning. And though it is a seasonal gift, I will be displaying mine all year round, and in fact it is already displayed and it's beautiful. After Christmas I will show you what it is. I don't want to spoil the surprise for anybody else. Now, talking about boxes, there's been a lot of chatter this week on social media about our red boxes. The contents of the 2 red boxes that we have issued were limited edition charts to those boxes, with the exception of Alice Tippett, which was a personal gift. Alice has subsequently been released. None of the other charts will be released. They were specific for those boxes. The next question I'm being asked is about when is the next red box? Well, I can tell you that the boxes for the contents of the red box have already started to arrive. I've been very busy, and with the help of Lisa over the last few weeks, just putting the finishing touches to the booklets that will be within the next red box. I can tell you now that the samplers are really special. I've chosen them with care. Each design is a little gem. Well, some of them aren't so little. They are gems of samplers, and I'm just so excited to finish assembling that box so that you can get to enjoy the contents. A lot of thought and a lot of work have gone into making this next red box extra special. We have some amazing goodies inside, and they'll start to arrive next week. I don't know where I'm going to put everything. I'm hoping that we will announce and release the next red box in February of next year. It takes a long time to pack all the boxes because the contents are all individually packed. It's a logistical, not nightmare, it's a huge logistical task that has to be planned out very, very carefully. So anyway, there is another red box, and it will be early in 2025, and it will be amazing. I promise you that. And it's going to be, it's going to be crammed full. I wish I could share it with you, but then it wouldn't be a surprise. My new Kahana scissors came this week, and they're beautiful. The last couple of limited edition colours from Kahana, they've been so similar to things they've released before. I've loved every one of them, and I'm very glad I got them. But I was really, really delighted when the latest scissors arrived, because they are a very distinctive colour to what they have produced before. It's showing as a fuchsia in the light of my on the screen at the moment, but I would call these a raspberry when I'm looking at them with my own eye. But on the lens of the screen of my iPad, those are showing as like a really deep fuchsia. They're beautiful. Kahanas are great scissors, very practical, usable scissors. Like, I love my French scissors, but they're not ones to use every day, where the Kahanas are. Very pleased with those. You were only allowed to buy one set per order, but I would really love to have another set of those put away, because I know that's a colour I'm going to enjoy using for the rest of my sewing life, which I hope will be long. it's a big worry, your eyes and your hands, isn't it, for sewing. I always think if I was sort of incapacitated in a nursing home, as long as I could stitch, I would have lots to keep me occupied. My mother-in-law, Winnie, she was an amazing needle worker, whether it was knitting, stitching, sewing. She could turn her hand to everything with a needle, just like my grandmother actually. And Winnie, towards the end of her life, suffered very badly with rheumatoid arthritis in her hands, and she lost her vision. And it was so sad to see, because when she was immobile, if only she could have used her hands and seen to knit or to stitch or embroider, whatever, she would have been very, very content. Oh, a little tip. I suffer quite badly with dry eye, and it's something that's come on in the last few years. And earlier this year, some of my American needlework friends were here staying with us, and one of them was ophthalmologist, is that what you call it? And I was talking about my dry eye condition, and she suggested taking a supplement of fish oils, and I've been doing that now for, I think, probably about 2 months, and I have noticed a difference with my dry eye. Okay, that's got nothing to do with needlework, but it came into my mind because of eyes and needed to sew, and it was a needlework friend that gave me that tip. Okay, right, I suppose I need to wind this floss tube up, get the boys out for a walk, and then make a decision about what my next project is going to be. Okay, stay well, stay safe, and until next week, bye-bye. You are a good boy. Yes, you are.